I want
money.
everyone out there to know. I have
Take the money.
But the problem with Jewish institutions is that, or with if the institution is weak and someone can give that money as a form of control, like I'm going to give you this money so that you're going to be my boy now, and you're going to say that my shit doesn't stink. Well, then no, that's bad. That it's not the money that's dirty; it's the institution actually that's dirty.
I think it's interesting in chapter 17, verse 7, that the witnesses that convict somebody got to be the people who lead the actual execution.
Well, the hand of the witnesses shall be upon him first to put him to death,
yes,
and the hand of the entire people afterward, and you shall destroy the evil from your midst. Well, I can see some tikkun olam in that. Like, that's a little like, all right, you want the death penalty? Here's the hat, and there's the switch. Have at it. It's as a vegetarian, I think I especially identify with that because, I've been to slaughterhouses. I don't have a problem with it, but I think that, I do, but I don't have a problem with going to a slaughterhouse. But I don't. Okay, just yes, understand what you are doing when you do it. And so, if you want, if you want vengeance, well, this is what it looks like.
Torah is very pro-death penalty.
Yeah, yes. I'm amazed. Like, I know you say, and you're. I don't know, but so I take your word for it that there was never any point in the history of our people Israel in which these sorts of death penalties were actually implemented. And I know I've heard a court, Sanhedrin, that executed one person every 50 years was a vicious court or whatever. But still, what's the deal? That there are so many things. Every trespass seems to merit death. That's how serious the Torah is about purity. The kid talks back, kill him. Your brother, talks fondly of another deity, a neighbor's deity, kill him. And not only kill him, don't feel bad about it. Right. Feel good. Well, what do we make of that? Is that just...
I think it's a way of underscoring how serious these sins are. So, just like I believe in the U.S. Navy that if you fall asleep on your watch, it's on the book, so you can be put to death for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you fall asleep on your watch, you endanger the whole ship.
Right. No.
So it's a way of underscoring this is a really serious offense. Now, I don't think they put a lot of people falling asleep on watch to death for it, but it's there on the books to say, hey, this is really serious.
But all that does is devalue crimes that they are willing to kill, to execute for. See, I don't understand that. To me, that if I were part of an institution where it said, well, look, this is a serious crime, and so we're going to actually pretend that it's super serious. To me, that's just it's a little silly. It's like, well, tell me what really is the punishment for falling asleep on watch, and if there are circumstances in which the punishment is going to be even worse, then tell me that. But, that just sounds, to me, that doesn't, it's just saying, hey, it's saying we don't mean what we say. And we're so serious about it that we want to make that explicit.
Sounds like you didn't write the Torah. Sounds
yeah,
like
no,
the
no.
author of this book had a different perspective on...
Well, no, but
on how to make severity...
Well, but I don't know. See, that's the thing. You say that you were saying that because you're saying, well, they never meant it literally.
No, I never said they never meant it literally. I said it wasn't. We don't have any evidence that this was carried out on a mass scale.
Right.
We have no historical evidence for this being carried out.
But this is.
I didn't say
you didn't
he
say
may mean it literally.
Yeah,
he may mean it literally, and humans were just too fragile to implement it.
Well, that's what I wonder, because they get in these debates about the Constitution as well, the original intent of the framers. Right. So the Torah is just another thing upon which, it's not, but it's the same processes of, exegesis. How do you, I'm curious what the original intent of the, whoever it was, who or whatever combination of people, or whatever divine entity, or whoever.
I tell you what, if they'd started, I bet you anything, if they started doing a little implementing of this, that a lot of people would have shaped up real fast.
Shape up real fast. That's the good thing about wicked vengeance is that it gets people's attention. It's true. Violence.
I bet they only have to. It's just like I'm sure you have different views on this, but if you arrest one person and send him back home to Mexico for being in the United States illegally, 100 more people will then pick up and go back voluntarily once they hear about it. So you execute one person for idolatry,
right.
the 100 other idolaters will stop.
Right, well, and especially I think that with the Mexico example, you get people are less likely to try. People are already here are one thing, but less people are likely to try in the future. And that's true. I mean, that's why justice. That's why they say, you know, it's important that justice be done. It's important that justice be seen to be done, because not just for the sake of the punishment, but as a
deterrent.
It's not just punitive. It's deterrent. It's a deterrent as well, and that's true. I mean, look, there's. You know, look, Jewish gangsters knew this stuff too. Meyer Landscaping said, you know, violence is expensive and violence is effective. And it's expensive because it hurts people and makes them mad at you. It's effective because, boy, they notice it.
And who was the amoral political theorist in Italy? Machiavelli said, when you come to power, kill all your enemies. You know, do it at once, kill them, and then, you know, then rule peacefully.
Right.
Get it all out of the way. Like.
Right. Well, and look, there's a reason why Machiavelli has a bad name. You know, Machiavellian as an adjective is pejorative, but a lot of people read The Prince by Machiavelli. A lot of businessmen do. A lot of because there's a lot of insight there into how to navigate power relationships, and they draw lessons from those kinds of things. It's not, they don't literally kill people, but you know, violence. When it's necessary in order to establish that you're capable of it, and then generosity once the violence is, you know, and that's why Mafia Dons had a peacetime advisor and a wartime advisor, because it was just a different, but anyway. But yes, it's the Torah is certainly on the side of violence is effective as a demonstration to all those people who are ready to do stupid things if you don't show them violence.
I notice in all these laws it never says, but if you don't feel like it, you don't have to do it. Like the feeling.
Very seldom do you come across that in the Torah.
So it really doesn't. If you're not into it that day, or you're not feeling it, or you're just not convinced, or your heart's not in it,
no.
You don't seem to get an out.
No, you don't. There's no out.
There's no out for your feelings.
No, or for your inner child, or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you'd have to read. You'd have to come up with a whole. Yeah. You'd have to do a lot of work to read that into this, but. At the same time, you know, this is, I guess, maybe my problem with Judaism. It's one of them, or not problem, but one of my observations. It's fine to be that way. Say, hey, look, you just do it, and no matter how you feel, you do it, and the rest of you will follow. And if it doesn't, touch it anyway, because this is what you do. I understand that way of thinking. The problem is that then the things that are demanded of you should actually be attainable, because Judaism gives you 613 mitzvot, which are actually impossible to implement every day. It's like someone trying to be a perfect vegan. It's actually not possible. And then saying, and if you don't do it, that's an impurity which is worthy of death. So, I mean, one reading of it is just, you know, everyone is worthy of death, which may be true anyway. But I still think it's like it's a psychologically and emotionally tough environment in which to lead your life. Very tough, because.
But at least you know the rules.
Yeah, you know the rules, but you can't.
You know where you stand.
Right. Well, yeah, but no one can say. But it's just as ambitious as the Golden Rule, and just as unattainable. And the consequences for following it, for not meeting it, are not sympathy, as in the case of Christianity, but you're an impurity. You deserve to be wiped out from Israel.
Well, what's so tough? I mean, as long as you don't commit idolatry, and you don't talk back to your parents, and you don't. Yeah, but there aren't that many things for which there's a death penalty. I mean, just don't commit idolatry and don't talk back to your parents, and you're pretty much.
Well, I guess this is
not too bad.
Well, okay, you're right, because I'm conflating, and my limited background is a handicap. I'm conflating the 613 mitzvot with capital crimes, and they're not the same thing. But that's true. Okay, but.
And if you don't sleep with any family member, that's like 4 commandments right there.
Right. Some are easier to observe than others. That one's not so bad. Not eating the limb of a living animal. You know, at this point, I'm not even tempted.
I mean, you're practically Orthodox right now.
But yeah, that's true. But okay, so that's true. So it doesn't say you're worthy of death, but it's just this impulse to purity and the loathing